For most of its history, the Forza Racing series has been an overachiever. This was especially true for the first few games under its belt, which proved that it was possible to provide a solid sim racing alternative to Sony's wildly popular Gran Turismo series on consoles. It's a track record that makes Forza Motorsport 5 look like an outlier. Although Turn 10's debut offering on Xbox One was a nice looking next generation game that sold a bajillion copies and still got good scores overall, it wasn't held quite in the same high regard as its predecessors. Chalk it up to a reduction in tracks and cars as well as the unexpected prominence of microtransactions in its venerable formula. One can even say that Forza 5 underachieved. This makes Forza Motorsport 6's arrival on the track much welcome for Forza fans. Following the concerns raised about its previous outing, it's obvious that the folks at Turn 10 were listening. Thought Forza 5's initial 14 tracks and 200 or so cars represented a downgrade from its predecessor's more robust count? Forza 6 features 26 tracks and 460 vehicles. All of those vehicles, by the way, also get the Forza Vista car porn treatment, which means you can do an immersive tour around the car, go inside and check out the interior, and start the engine so you can listen to it growl and purr. The game also includes two of the most requested features by fans in the form of night races, as well as rain. Microtransactions, meanwhile, are conspicuously absent, and Forza 6 doles out new vehicles to add to your garage like a generous uncle handing out candy during Halloween. In fact, the first car I won from the new random spins each time you level up was a Bugatti Veyron, which I then proceeded to crash into walls at Rio de Janeiro, because that's what I do the first time I drive a Veyron in every Forza game. All in all, the result of all these changes is a game that's a lot more filling than its predecessor. Eye candy continues to be a strong suit for the series, which outputs at 1080p and 60 frames per second. Forza 6 does a great job in replicating how light hits a car's various curves and crevices, which makes simply staring at vehicles in your virtual garage a visual treat. Stages set in urban areas like the aforementioned Rio de Janeiro, also known as the place where new Veyron drivers go to play car pinball, also look great, whether it be the claustrophobic sections of its city streets or the expansive views of its trademark vistas. The same thing can be said about the new rain effects, which look impressive as droplets obstruct your vision and get mercilessly swept away by your wipers like a constant watery dance on your windshield. The racing, meanwhile, remains rock solid. One of the best things about the Forza series is how it can accommodate various skill levels, making it one of the more accessible racing games out there. If you aren't exactly the Ayrton Senna of the virtual racing world, just turn on all assists and you're off to the races. Love the challenge of riding the razor's edge between control and unmitigated disaster? Turn off your racing and braking lines, traction control, and anti-lock brakes, then switch on manual transmission to kick up driver engagement several notches. Heck, even if you're somewhere in the middle, there will always be a combination of settings that will be just right for you. Throw in car tuning, and you've got all sorts of possible setups for your ride as well. The addition of night and wet racing also adds some new mechanics into the mix. Besides causing tires to be cooler, for example, night racing adds lowered visibility into the mix, especially if you have non-cosmetic damage on and lose your lights. Rain, meanwhile, turns harmless-looking puddles into grip-killing hazards that can send you hydroplaning like Tailspin's Baloo out of a turn. The game features equipable mods as well, which can range from perks, such as a one-time speed boost, to a permanent improvement in grip. AI drivers known as drivatars also return, designed to simulate the behavior of actual players. Personally, I usually turn its aggressive feature off because it does too good a job in emulating the aggression of human players. My cousin's drivatars. And I found myself frequently being tapped, bumped, and spun around by the AI while it's on. Then again, it's always hilarious to see drivatars wipe out like real human players do. Folks who like to dabble in campaign will have more than 70 hours of content to go through, spread across various career and showcase modes and tours. Admittedly, it's a linear affair, but still entertaining nonetheless. If multiplayer is more your thing, you have the option for 2-player split screen or 24-player online races to satisfy your competitive juices. New to Forza 6 are online leagues where players are matched up based on skill and behavior. There's also a new spectator mode that not only allows you to view online races in progress, but streams them if you wish. Rounding out the list of features is good old car painting, which I sometimes end up spending more time on than actual racing. In addition to an assortment of colors and patterns at your disposal, creative types can also use the shape tools to dream up designs such as anime characters, for example, although doing the latter does require a ton of patience since you have to use shape tools to visualize your illustrations. Even if you're horrible at making designs, perusing those uploaded by the community continues to be a treat. One downside is that rain and night racing is not available on all tracks. According to Turn 10, adding these features requires a lot of work on each individual track, whether it be the proper combination of more than 148 surfaces used to simulate wet conditions, or accurately replicating the stadium lighting at Daytona versus, say, Le Mans' pitch black conditions. Still, it's a bummer that night and rain aren't universally available. More dynamic weather events would be welcome as well. I also noticed that rain is not simulated on your rear view mirror, which continues to reflect a nice and clear image even during a torrential downpour. I also wish it was possible to combine night driving and wet racing. Also, while racing against a buddy by a split screen is nice, I wish there were more robust racing options in this mode, particularly against a group of AI racers. Mod perks might annoy racing purists as well. Overall, however, Forza 6 represents a return to form for Turn 10's racing series, which I guess you can say turns it up to 11. The addition of a large number of tracks and cars, as well as night and wet racing, greatly enhances the Forza experience. The absence of aggressive microtransactions also removes a distraction that poisoned some of the goodwill players had in the last game. If you're a fan of the Forza series or racing games in general, this is one ride you'll want to hop into.